immediately beneath our commentary position, marching purposefully towards that Chelsea dugout, dressed very smartly as ever. Dark grey coat, dark grey scarf, dark trousers, white trainers, spectacles on. Liam Rosenior takes a moment to himself, in fact, and wanders over towards the travelling Chelsea support, who are tucked in underneath the roof of the Jimmy Seed stand away to our right. They've spotted him doing that. He applauds them. They return with exactly the same. And I have to say one thing, Pat, given I was listening to that Macclesfield Crystal Palace game earlier on in the day, and then what has transpired in the afternoon, I just wonder whether the FA Cup gods have decided, do you know what, you've had your full quota of magic in that early kick-off at the Moss Rose. You're not getting any more today. The Charlton fans won't be thinking like that, though.
And I'll tell you something else. The Charlton manager doesn't think that either, because he's put out as strong a team just about as he could. And they're a very, very attack-minded team that he's put out as well. And it's one of those ones that is a shot to nothing. You know, the expectation is low. So it's at the home ground. The place is absolutely buzzing. There's a great atmosphere around this stadium. It's brilliant to see it full and like this. And if they put any sort of, combinations together, they will create chances. The problem for Charlton is they've not scored enough goals this season, and they need to do something about that.
Charlton Athletic Football Club have really gone to town, you have to say, on the pre-match entertainment tonight. Fantastic. Third round in the last 30.
The Chelsea Football Club felt as if they were spending as much time at Wembley as they were spending at Stamford Bridge. They were there that often. So yeah, so Liam Rosenior would love to get his hands on any trophy this season. Maybe this is arguably the best chance, because although in the semi-final of the League Cup, it is Arsenal home and away.
Yeah, you wonder whether that fixture as well, first leg at Stamford Bridge on Wednesday night, has played a little part in this team selection, and of course the extremely busy fixture period ahead of this game. We're just about ready to go. Referee Christopher Kavanagh, all in black. Magical day in the FA Cup, one of the most momentous upsets ever. You heard it, full commentary of it, kicked off at 12:15 earlier on today. Sixth-tier Macclesfield knocking out the holders, Crystal Palace. The biggest ever gap in placings in the league ladder between two teams in terms of a giant killing. This is underway. This is Charlton of the Championship, sitting 19th in the table right now, just one win in their last 11 games in the league. And Chelsea, 8th in the Premier League, but I think most pertinently, a new regime. 41-year-old Liam Rosenior gets his chance, his dream shot at managing Chelsea, and the 11 in just a second. Line with Santos, across it comes to back. Gets his first touch of the game, uses Badiashile again, and across it comes to Tosin. Pat Nevin, what are you making of this?
Just the way it's set out, wondering how Charlton would play. Would it be a 5-3-2 or a 3-5-2? Well, with the defending, they've got 5 defenders back there as often as they possibly can, and sometimes 6. There should be chances.
On the left-hand side, who's immediately tackled, so Chelsea turn and try and attack. Gittins has lost it. Here comes Charlton, first proper attack of the evening for them. Amari Bell's got in a good position. Here's Tyrese Campbell, crosses into the Near post, Santos has it covered for Chelsea, nips in and knocks the ball behind for the first corner of the game. It goes to the home team, Charlton.
Charlie Kelman's right in there, wasn't he? The ball was played to the front post. He was getting there as quick as he possibly could. Chelsea couldn't take any chances, and that's the first time they get the ball. Charlton have moved it well up the left-hand side and have won a corner.
Charlie Kelman alongside Miles Leeburn up front for Charlton. You'll recognise that surname connected to Charlton Football Club. Miles, the son of Carl Leeburn, who played almost 350 times for Charlton, scored plenty of goals too. Corner comes in towards the back post. Jorgensen opts to punch it. It goes straight up in the air. Chelsea haven't got this clear yet. Couple of headers. It bounces back towards Jorgensen, who grabs it cleanly, rushes to the edge of his penalty area and then holds on to it for a second pass.
Just noticing recently, obviously, corner kicks and free kicks have become so important in the game, the Premier League. But that one whipped in right to the goalkeeper. They had to punch it. There was dangerous ball in there with good pace.
Harto was getting away down the left-hand side for Chelsea. Stopped in his tracks. Leeburn is there. Sliding challenge from Santos. And the ball goes out for the Charlton throw. 3.5 minutes in. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 18th third round FA Cup tie of the day. Fourth commentary in succession on the network. Charlton 0, Chelsea 0. Guiu rushes in to block a clearance. And it goes out for a Charlton throw in the right back position. So they've had to make this change in goal because Thomas Kaminski, the Belgian, is the regular goalkeeper and he is not involved this evening. So Will Mannion is making only his second appearance of the season. Keenan Goff is playing in Charlton's back three. He's a 19-year-old making only his second start for the club. And here's Miles Leeburn, and Badiashile has to haul into the ground to stop him getting away down the right. He gets an early yellow card. Charlton get the free kick.
We were talking before the game about, the senior-offs, the bookings. I mean, just the general discipline. And I've not thought it's been that big a problem with Chelsea.
Love on Shido.
The edge of the penalty area. No, the assistant referee has the flag up and said that ball went behind, so that'll be a goal kick Chelsea. So yes, Keenan Goff, the 19-year-old, only his second start for the club, has only made his debut in the first team this season, alongside Lloyd Jones, crucial player in the heart of that three-man back line, and Amari Bell. James Bree on the right, so when they drop back into the five that Pat was talking about, that'll be James Bree and Tyrese Campbell who'll drop back. Connor Coventry in central midfield, the former West Ham man in front of them. Greg Doherty, the captain, and Sonny Carey have come back into the starting lineup for this one. And then it's the American Charlie Kelman alongside Miles Leeburn up front. Ball is played back on the right here. Cross comes in to the edge of the area, toss in stretches, heads the ball away. There's Bell for Charlton. Good spell of pressure from the championship team here.
Changes with Chelsea a lot as time goes past, but at the moment still looking a bit shaky in there.
Harto brings it forward for Chelsea. Andre Santos in midfield, receives and quickly plays it on to Caicedo. Back to Santos. Forward there to Harto. And back to Badiashile again, and Chelsea will be patient and slow and methodical in this build-up at the moment. Just knocking passes around. Back to the halfway line and Tosin. Tosin goes to his right to Achimpong, who has been an impressive performer when he's got his chance in the first team this season. Santos on the turn, straight ball forward, run made across the back line there by Buonanotte. Again, rare opportunity for him to impress in the Chelsea first team this season, and they've worked it to the right to Achimpong. He goes further to the right-hand side. Gittins on a little dribble, tries to beat his man, crosses into the near post, spilled by the goalkeeper Mannion, and Charlton get lucky because it falls to one of their players. They're able to whack it away up towards the halfway line, and Tosin is there.
Yeah, hard one to deal with those. It was spilled by Mannion though, but the ball was zipped at real pace from pretty close.
Mannion comes out this time to catch a forward ball from the Chelsea midfield and does that comfortably, holds on to it, and waves his defenders forward. So in the 5:45 kickoffs in the third round this evening, Spurs are out of the FA Cup, beaten at home 2-1 by Aston Villa. Some unseemly scenes towards the end of that game, turned into a big melee. More reaction in half-time of this one. Charlton 0, Chelsea 0 right now. Weston-super-Mare couldn't quite match Macclesfield. They're from the National League South. They lost 3-2 at Grimsby. Cambridge United put up a good fight at home against Birmingham, but they went down 3-2. And Bristol City thumped Watford in the All-Championship clash at Ashton Gate. Chelsea possession again. Lots of it in the early stages. Caicedo immediately gives the ball back to Tosin. Cole Palmer not involved at all tonight, and nor is Reece James, possibly with Wednesday night's first leg of the League Cup semi-final against Arsenal in mind. Guiu can't hold on to the forward ball. It comes through to the Charlton keeper, Mannion, who's got that giant two-tiered covered end behind him. Leeburn wins the first header inside the Chelsea half. It goes back down the right there. Garnacho makes the block, and that will go out for a throw-in to Charlton. We have slightly unusual commentary seats. I remember these from a while ago here. You sort of have to lock yourself in. It's a fold-up tabletop. So you sit down in your seat and then you lift the tabletop up and close it down over your legs. And once you're in, Pat, you're in.
Something way back into school days about these.
Definitely. Here's Campbell on the left for Charlton. Ball's broken to him nicely. He tries to beat Action Pong, shoots, slices it badly, and it goes behind for the Chelsea goal kick. And the other thing is, 5 yards and in from the touchline just beneath us in our commentary position here. I can't actually see sitting down. I've stood up a couple of times, and one irate Charlton fan has told me I better not do that again.
Yeah. Maybe they should have sent John Murray. Yeah. And somebody else taller from... Yes. By the way, the guy behind you, he's standing up and just blocking everybody else now. A problem for everyone here. But they've had to stop the play here. See what the problem is.
Nathan Jones, I can see, is barking instructions down there on the touchline. Liam Rosenior is already calling a few of the Chelsea players over to get some early instructions onto the field. One of those is Mark Guiu, the centre forward. Another one is Garnacho. Jarell Harto is there as well. And what is the stoppage all about here, Pat? Because both sets of players...
There's nothing obvious.
No.
There's no player down. The referee seems perfectly happy with his situation, just standing there in the middle of the field.
Medical emergency in the stands. I wondered whether it might be that, because Pat is absolutely right. Both sets of players have just come over to the touchline here. They are trying to keep themselves warm. They're receiving instructions, and immediately we can see Liam Rosenior at work straight away here, Pat, because he's direct forefinger. So stop. We thank you for your patience. So we are going to get a little bit of a delay. Charlton 0, Chelsea 0. But this is the thing, Pat, just from the Chelsea point of view, if we are going to talk about the football, this is going to be a totally different team than the one that faces Arsenal on Wednesday in the League Cup semi-final first leg, and then probably the one that faces Brentford in the Premier League after that. So in terms of trying to get his message across to this group of players, I suppose you just take it game by game.
But the one thing I can say, that the way Chelsea played system-wise is exactly the same. So they set up as a back four, but then one of the full-backs, either left full-back, right full-back, he goes into midfield, pushes everybody on, it becomes a back three. Those three at the back go very, very wide to try and play it out from there. It's very, very similar to what Chelsea have been doing before, and a number of other teams do. Liverpool famously do that sort of thing as well. So they're not asking these players to do something they don't know, and they're not used to. So there's no real change there. There'll be subtle changes, just subtle technical changes, but not anything that the players won't worry about. If I would say one thing that I spotted early on, I don't know if Chelsea's staff down there, because they had the laptops out very, very quickly. Barishio's been caught once, and he couldn't get back in time. And because he was wide, he's a centre-back at heart. But he's having to play almost as a left-back. That doesn't suit certain centre-halves, specifically his type of centre-half. Now, he's been caught out once, he's got himself in the book, and it's, looking forward, if he can try to get himself into this team, it's going to be difficult, because that's not suited unless he's the central one of that back three.
Well, it's a bitingly cold January night here. FA Cup third round action. Both sets of players just staying warm at the moment by passing balls around between them in each half of the field. We have a medical emergency at the Valley at the moment, and I'll just repeat the big screen up away to my right is telling everyone inside the stadium exactly that. So obviously worried faces and concern, and everyone hoping for the best here. Message says at the bottom, we thank you for your patience. I'll hand you back to James Gregg in the studio for now, and we'll be back here at the Valley when the football gets back underway. But about just over 10 minutes played, James, it's Charlton 0, Chelsea 0.
OK, Ali and Pat, thank you for the moment. We will get back to the Valley as soon as we can. We obviously don't want to speculate on what that medical emergency is. We do wish whoever is involved well in that, and hopefully we can get that game of football back going as well. We'll keep you across that here on 5 Live, but what a cracker of a Saturday so far in this FA Cup third round. The main headline really has to be the biggest Cup upset ever. Macclesfield knocking out the holders, Crystal Palace 2-1. That was a captivating watch at lunchtime. We'll run you through some of the other scores as well. We do have some rugby as well going on this evening over on Sports Extra and on Sports Extra 2. I'll tell you about how both of those matches are going shortly from Rugby Union's Champions Cup. But let's run through the scores then. So Cheltenham Town 0, Leicester City 2. Robin Roos was the hero as Sunderland held Everton to a draw and then beat them in a penalty shootout 3-0. Saved 3 straight penalties there, did the Sunderland keeper. Like I said, Macclesfield 2, Crystal Palace 1. Wolves with a much needed victory over Shrewsbury Town, and a big one too, 6-1. It finished at Molineux. There was a big win as well for Burton Albion away at Boreham Wood. They won 5-0, so they're in the hat for the 4th round, are Burton Albion. Burnley 5, Millwall 1. Doncaster Rovers 2, Southampton 3 in what was a thriller at the Keepmoat Stadium. Fulham 3, Middlesbrough 1. That was at full time at Craven Cottage. Ipswich 2, Blackpool 1. Manchester City 10, Exeter City 0. Newcastle United 3, Bournemouth 3. Newcastle won that one in penalties. We'll run through the rest of the scores at half time, but we can go back to the Valley with Pat Nevin and Alistair Bruce Ball.
Thank you, James. The game is back underway, and Chelsea are attacking down the inside right channel. Buonanotte has made good ground to the edge of the box. Cross into Harto, and the header was looping towards the far corner. Mannion, though, was able to leap and clutch it and make the save. It didn't quite have the loft or the power that it needed to beat the keeper.
Yeah, but a lovely piece of play by Buonanotte. You know, he's a lovely player to watch. You give him any space at all, and he will create something. Problem is, he found the wrong guy. If he'd have given it to Guy, that would have been him in the back of the net. And good play from Chelsea. And for those listeners who have anyone down here and are worried, we saw the gentleman being escorted away, and he looks okay. A gentleman of a certain age, but he was waving to the crowd saying, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, he was wheeled away on a stretcher down the touchline, right in front of the 2 dugouts. And as Pat says, he did put his thumb up and react and got the applause.
And got a great applause.
He did. So hopefully all's well that ends well there. Charlton have some defending to do. Gittins with a dribble and a shot straight at Mannion, punches the ball away, and Tyrese Campbell taking no chances there, knocks it straight behind for the Chelsea corner. So 16 minutes played on the stopwatch, but obviously a few of those minutes we didn't have any play at all. There's going to be plenty of added time at the end of the first half. Charlton 0, Chelsea 0 in Liam Rossinia's first game in charge of Chelsea. He's taken over at the start of a very busy month. Arsenal at home on Wednesday in the first leg of the League Cup semi-final. First Premier League game at home to Brentford after that. Then it'll be Champions League action after that. Corner comes into the near post, nodded behind again, this time by...
At AnsMed Training Institute, we offer 6-month intensive program in professional caregiving, 12-month healthcare assistance program, and 2 weeks accelerated program in caregiving. Our programs are accredited by Ghana Technical and Vocational Education and Training, GTVET, and it is widely accepted internationally. Our fees are moderate, and it comes with flexible payment terms. Locate us at Adenta in Accra. For more info, call 0243 270.
Here's Caicedo, 25 yards out. Gives the ball back to Gittins. Caicedo again, low cross into the penalty area, knocked down to the edge of the box, and Leeburn is there just to hoof it away with his right foot. Chased by Kelman all the way back into that Chelsea half. Harto had a good 5-6 yards on him, easily beat him to the ball, and Chelsea are able to play out from the back. Chelsea 0-0 here against Charlton at the Valley. Fantastic atmosphere inside this stadium.
There has been, and interesting to know what Liam Rossinia must have said to his players, because since we've started, Chelsea have been different completely. They had a couple of chances, particularly down that right-hand side, got a couple of corner kicks as well. And there's a little bit more urgency to the player, more zip to their passing.
Here's Garnacho. Garnacho finds Andre Santos. Caicedo makes himself available. He's 10 yards inside the Charlton half. Achimpong supports from centre-back. Goes wide here to Gittins. He drags the ball under the studs of his right boot. Crosses in. It's nodded down. Santos chests it down and then skews the shot wide. Guiu tried to get a touch on that as it went through the box, trying to divert it on target. Didn't get that touch, and it's gone behind for the Charlton goal kick.
Looks like it's set up this sort of way now, isn't it? Chelsea, when they get the ball, they're actually getting through their faces quite quickly now and getting into that final third fairly easily. And they're making half chances and no massive clear-cut chances, but they're getting into really good positions, and that's given Santos a chance to go a little bit further. Buonanotti's beginning to find a little bit of space there. So somehow Charlton have to hold that ball up in the final third and get a little bit involved in the play this side.
Charlton 0, Chelsea 0. Achimpong is brought down just inside his own half by Sonny Carey. Chelsea thought about going quickly with the free kick. Kelman spotted that and just ran in front of the ball to delay that. Chelsea not too bothered. Get play back underway again. All the highlights you can watch from the FA Cup third round match of the day tonight. BBC One at 10:40. So that's not going to be too long after this game is finished, particularly if it goes to extra time and penalties, as a couple have today in the FA Cup. And then Pat mentioned John Murray in the commentary earlier on, back in FA Cup action for 5 Live tomorrow. Derby Leeds. We are on air with 5 Live Sport from 11:30 tomorrow. Our first commentary from the FA Cup is Derby Leeds, and then at 2 o'clock we're at Fratton Park. There'll be another great atmosphere there for the FA Cup third round tie between Portsmouth and Arsenal. Passing from Chelsea, eventually intercepted and interrupted, but Buonanotte comes back to win it for Chelsea. Santos receives it here from Tosin. Right in the centre circle, Santos gets it back from Badiashile. Lots of short passing from Chelsea here. Outside of the right boot, Caicedo finds Achimpong. He goes wide to Gittins. Gittins is running at Campbell here. Little shimmy of the shoulders. He goes past him, gets the cross in. That's deflected. Guiu is able to collect it. Lays it back to the edge of the penalty area. Buonanotte dummies a shot. Nearly finds Harto in the penalty area. And Charlton are able to get it away. Very
noticeable. Gittins, who's had an up and down time since he's joined Chelsea. However, tonight he looks confident. Every time he gets a ball, he runs at defenders, takes them on, usually getting to the byline. Well, he's on fire at the start of this game.
Yeah, this is the 31st game of the season for Chelsea, and in the 30 so far, Gittins has appeared in 22 of them, but only made 10 starts. The nod down here from Tosin finds Caicedo. So Charlton are really struggling to get out at the moment. Those men in the red shirts drop into their defensive shape. Caicedo calmly walks forward with the ball, plays it to Achimpong on the right, and Chelsea are just going to take their time and just probe for the weakness and the spaces. Badiashile with his left foot, across to Garnacho. Bree steps in, wins it for Charlton. Turns inside his own half, plays back here, and the ball is cleared, intercepted by Badiashile. That wasn't the best touch there. Little 1-2 between Kelman and Carey. Carey still brings it forward, and Caicedo got a crucial touch for Chelsea. Stayed with his man, put his foot on the ball, and they've come back to the goalkeeper Jorgensen.
We were watching him run away there, and you knew that it was that man behind him, Caicedo. You kind of knew, didn't you? He was going to get the tackling. It was probably going to be clean as well. Very, very good defending from the defensive midfielder. Chelsea working the ball smoothly up the pitch. We've played almost half of the first half here at the Valley. Last FA Cup third round tie of the night. No 6:06 after this one. Too late in the night for that, but 6:06 on tomorrow with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage at 5 o'clock, a slightly earlier time. Note that, taking your calls on the FA Cup third round action and anything else you want to talk about. Macclesfield fans, I know you're going to have to wait. I know you may have sore heads, but definitely give the show a call tomorrow, particularly if you were there. It was an incredible listen on 5 Live earlier on today, and a quite incredible FA Cup victory. Caicedo and Santos exchanging passes again for Chelsea. It comes across to Achimpong. Tall, angular figure. Low pass from him to Gittins. Comes creeping in from the right. Looks for the 1-2 with Caicedo, who just chips the ball up in the air. Charlton have half cleared. Then it's thumped away. Up it goes. Chased back by Badiashile. He lets that bounce. Lee Byrne pounces, nods it forward, but Tosin read it. Gets there first for Chelsea and passes back to his goalkeeper, Jorgensen. Shades of his father there, I think.
Yeah.
Down there, waving through there. tall, rangy, very, very strong, and once again a difficult time for Barry Shield. Lets the ball bounce there. You can't take a chance to do that in that situation. And just a few moments ago, he gave the ball away in a fairly dangerous situation. And as I was talking before about, there's no chance there, thinking that Barry Shield should be the more central. He shouldn't be getting dragged out left. Look at where he's gone now. Barry Shield's moved. I think the manager agrees with me.
Yes, you're right. Tosin on the left, Badia Shield to his right. Tosin steps in, wins a header, nods it down to Santos and Caicedo.
Well, they've moved back, actually. They've moved back now.
It's very noticeable, that midfield partnership as well, Pat. They almost see a string between the two, between Santos and Caicedo.
Santos is a really nice player. We always talk about Douglas Fernandes and Caicedo because of the cost. Both over 100 million. However, Santos is an extremely capable player and will only get better because he's young.
Yeah, 21 years old, the Brazilian, who has been on loan to Strasbourg, so Liam Rossignol knows him extremely well for the last 18 months. Now he's his manager at Chelsea. Caicedo curls a pass out to Gittin, seeing plenty of the ball in this first half. Confidently, just stands on it with his right foot. Back it comes to Buonanotte, who's popped up in a pocket of space wide on the right. He plays back into the middle of the Charlton half to Tosin. Tosin rolls a pass to his right to Caicedo. He opens play up again to the right, and Gittins might have another little run at Campbell. Support from Achimpong on the outside. Campbell did well, read that, stepped in, intercepted. Caicedo blocks his clearance forward. Can he keep the ball in play? Not quite on the far side of the field to us. So that will go out for a throw in to Charlton. It is Charlton 0, Chelsea 0, with 25 minutes played in the first half.
Yeah, and Charlton have got a throw in there midway through their own half. And they're just delighted to get a throw in, to get a touch of the ball, to hold it on for 2 or 3 passes, because they just can't get a hold of it. And you put 4 or 5 together, and generally, as soon as they lump it long, they don't win it, and as I say, that exactly that happens. They're under pressure again.
Bell turns, plays the ball up the left-hand side to Campbell. Back it comes into the midfield. Forward to Lieburn, just a bit heavy with that first touch, trying to find Campbell and his run down the left-hand side. So that has gone out for a Chelsea throw. Just looking at that Jimmy Seed stand away to our right. Famous manager of Charlton back in the day, in charge of them when they won the FA Cup for the only time in their history back in 1947. Garnacho speeding in from the left for Chelsea, finds Buonanotte in a central position. Santos thought about a first-time shot, goes for the pass instead to Harto. Santos across to Caicedo. Santos again, no one wants to take that shot, and Charlton have numbers back. Tosin brings it forward, he'll hit it well over the crossbar. You could tell by the roars from the Charlton fans, and that will go behind for the Charlton goal kick. And by the way, Pat, just on that 1947 FA Cup win for Charlton, I was digging around in my FA Cup history. It was 1-0 on the day, and the winner was scored by a Scottish winger.
As all the best goals are.
Called Chris Duffy. And that was Charlton's FA Cup win in 1947. They've been quarter-finalists 4 times since then. The last time back in 2014, when as a championship team they actually lost to League One Sheffield United, and Chelsea's manager Liam Rossignol played in the FA Cup final that year because it was Steve Bruce's Hull City that went through to face Arsenal and eventually lost 3-2 in extra time. The ball's gone out for a Charlton throw on the left, and they're just trying to find a footing, aren't they, Pat, somehow in this game?
I think they should be probably delighted, getting towards the half-hour mark, and they're still 0-0, but they're creating very little. They had just before, they had the break in play. There were a few moves down the left-hand side. They were getting down there dangerously, Charlton were, but since then, very limited amounts. But that's the idea, try and survive until you get your half chance now and again. Miles
Lieburn, powerful young striker. Chelsea defenders breathing down his neck. He's done well for Charlton, finds Bree. Bree plays back to the 19-year-old Keenan Goff. What a night for him. Only his 4th appearance for the club. Only his 2nd start, made his debut earlier this season, up against Chelsea in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. The ball comes all the way back to one of the key men for Charlton, centre-back Lloyd-Jones, once of Liverpool. Goalkeeper Mannion, only his second appearance of the season. Leeburn wins the header, but it goes back into his own half. Buonanotte stumbles. Charlton there first. It comes out to Brie on the right. He does well. Hooks a left-footed pass infield. Carey chests it down, turns, then gives it away. Buonanotte lets it run across his body, plays forward to the centre-forward Guillou. Not enough pace on that pass for Gittins, so Gittins has to stop and wait for it. Buonanotte comes up in support. Here's Jarell Harto, young Dutchman, signed from Ajax in the summer.
I'm just laughing at the noise you hear when Garnacho gets the ball. I'll ask a question about that in a minute.
Pass back from him, finds Caicedo, 20 yards out, central position, little 1-2. Caicedo thinking about the right-footed shot, doesn't really think it's on. Passes to his right to Gittins, who's inside that Charlton area. 3 step-overs, 2 defenders in front of him. Passes back again to Caicedo. Right-hand corner of that Charlton penalty area. Gittins onto the left foot, and the shot is ballooned over the crossbar, well wide of the target. That'll be another Charlton goal kick, 0-0.
Can we get some fans to phone in to 606 and to explain why, of all the players in the league, very, very few are booed just about everywhere they go? And Garnacho's...
Save time creating content and generate a high-quality clone of your voice with 11 Labs. Change the way you record podcasts, voiceovers, and branded content with the #1 AI-powered voice-generating technology. Stop searching for the perfect voice and stop wasting time re-recording take after take. Try 11 Labs for free and start elevating your content today.
Past Greg Doherty there, long legs taking him away from the Charlton midfielder. Gittins finds Achimpong, back it comes to Buonanotte, dummies the left-footed shot. Doherty's not falling for that, makes the tackle for Charlton, passes to his right to Carey. Garnacho comes steaming in looking to make a tackle, but the pass is released to Leeburn. Leeburn's back heel goes through the legs of Badiashile, and then Carey with the nutmeg takes it past Santos, throws himself to the floor when Badiashile came back to make the challenge, and I would argue Pat Nevin gets the free kick, but I think he might have bought the free kick there.
I mean, it's one of those ones where Badiashile got too close anyway in the first place. So the first one, that led to the problem. There's a little bit of a push on him there, but not much. I think the referee's right. It's probably just about a free kick, but it's definitely nothing more than that. He just feels something in the back of his shoulder there, goes down, gets a free kick. But that's certainly what Charlton want. They want an opportunity to put the ball into the box. But you do mention Badiashile there. You can't get too close. You can't take too many chances when you're already on a yellow card.
James Brie waits to take the free kick for Charlton. Midway inside the Chelsea half on Charlton's right. In it comes, diagonal ball. Leeburn heads it across goal, drops inside the penalty area. Doherty hits the bouncing ball powerfully, but straight into the body of a Chelsea defender, then drags Gittins back as Gittins was looking to get away down the right. And that's the first Charlton player booked this evening. It's the skipper, Greg Doherty. So that's one apiece. Badiashile for Chelsea and Doherty for Charlton.
It is one of those ones where I'm not sure it was absolutely necessary. Yes, Gittins was getting away. There's about 80 yards from goal. It's a long, long old way to go. That's a fairly cheap yellow card to give away by Doherty.
Here's Santos for Chelsea. Harto making the run forward, but Chelsea keep it tight in midfield. Now they open it up down the right. Achimpong, again, those long, graceful strides, eat up the ground very quickly. 1-2 with Buonanotte. Layoff from Santos to Caicedo, who comes shuffling across the Charlton half. Finds Badiashile, who turns, looks for tossing. Caicedo's first-time ball as Chelsea try and open this Charlton defence up. Still Charlton 0, Chelsea 0. Last FA Cup third-round commentary of the day. Campbell's got this covered from Gittins. Bell steps in to help him out. Another former Luton player, signed by Nathan Jones at Luton, now in this Charlton team. And there's a right-footed clearance from Campbell, which bounces inside the Chelsea half. It takes 2 Chelsea players to take it off Kelman. But of course, it's Caicedo who wins the duel, wins the ball, and comes back to his goalkeeper, Jorgensen.
And finally, that when you do leave 2 players up, you expect to be able to hold the ball up that little bit better. But it's been really difficult for Kelman and Leeburn to be able to do that. You could argue it's the quality of the ball's up to them, but in reality, they're just up against bigger, stronger players against them at the moment.
More reaction to come from the FA Cup at half-time. More troubles for Thomas Frank. Spurs beaten 2-1 at home by Aston Villa. The big story of the day, of course, Macclesfield's win against the holders, Crystal Palace. As I heard from John Murray in the car on my way here today, I think only the 9th time in the last century that a non-league team has beaten a top-flight team in the FA Cup. It is extremely rare. It was an incredible win, and it is well worth savouring. Here's Santos, cross to Caicedo. Caicedo gives it to Achimpong, just outside the Charlton area. Quickly on to Gittins. Achimpong makes the run on the outside. Gittins uses him as a decoy. Comes back away from the box, feeds Caicedo. Again, lots of little short passing here. Achimpong very happy to be involved. Back it comes to toss in towards the halfway line. And he got the ball caught under his feet. And Chelsea eventually have to come back to their goalkeeper.
Yeah, but they've not lost possession. But that got a round of applause from the Charlton fans because they got out of a little bit of pressure for a small well. I have to say, if you're playing in blue, I think this must be a joy. I know it's difficult playing against a packed defence and there's a lot of defenders back there, but you've got the ball all of the time. And it's brilliant because at some point, somebody will switch off, a little gap on their eyes, and you know you'll be able to make a chance.
Arto does well under pressure there. The Dutchman for Chelsea held on to the ball, now plays another pass to Caicedo. Across it comes to Achimpong, tees himself up, drives it well, and Mannion goes flying to his right, palms it behind for a Chelsea corner. Charlton 0, Chelsea 0.
And that little bit of space that I was talking about just seconds ago opens up, and it's going to open up, and you can see with the Charlton players are working incredibly hard, but eventually somebody gets tired. Eventually somebody doesn't follow the man just quick enough, and that's a good shot on target, but it was from 20 yards out. Goalkeeper Mannion saved it well.
So corner from the left, Garnacho about to take. That's why you can hear the boos, jeers and whistles. Again, all of the short options move away. Garnacho's going to deliver this into the penalty area towards the near post, looking for a flick on. Lee Burns there. His clearance away was blocked. Charlton half get it away, but only as far as Garnacho, who's still getting roundly booed. Dummies across with his left foot, then tries to cross with his right. And you heard the enormous cheers there when Tyrese Campbell stuck out a leg and blocked that cross. But again, comes back for Chelsea possession. The possession stats will be very much in Chelsea's favour.
It's one of those ones you always think, well, this looks at 95, and then you look at it and it turns out to be 74. But it does seem pretty extreme in Chelsea's favour at the moment.
As you say, though, Pat, must be fun for the technicians in there, the likes of Buonanotte and Gittins and Garnacho, because it's short and it's intricate and it's fun and they're looking for space, and Garnacho's overrun it here. He's tackled, but Chelsea have it back again. Gittins has now popped up on the left-hand side, drops the shoulder, beats Bree, low pass across to Caicedo. He's under a lot of pressure here. 2 tackles come in, holds onto the ball well. Caicedo now with his right foot curls across into the Charlton area, nodded away by Bell, controlled by Kelman. Play back to the left-hand side to Bell, who's trying to wriggle his way down that left-hand touchline, but Achimpong has it covered for Chelsea. And then Buonanotte helps out, makes the tackle, and Chelsea have the ball again inside their own half.
They do well, win it back very quickly, Chelsea, don't they? They're very strong, and lose it, the ball breaks up left or right-hand side, but there are hordes of Chelsea players very willing, usually led by Caicedo, as you mentioned before. They get the ball back, and then they just slow it down, take the time, control the play, and depress the opponent. And that is part of it. Psychologically work hard to make the opponent feel this is pointless, this is hopeless, this is too difficult.
Just very tentatively leaning forward and trying to raise myself gently in my seat for fear of that Charlton fan having another go at me, to see that Liam Messina is out there, edge of the pitch, casually watching, jacket open, hands in pockets, and probably enjoying some of this football his Chelsea team are playing, but they've not been able to break through as yet. Third round of the FA Cup, Charlton 0, Chelsea 0. Charlton, since dropping out of the Premier League in 2007, have had 7 goes in cup competitions against Premier League teams and only won once. That was a League Cup tie, December 2022, when they beat Brighton on penalties here after a 0-0 draw at the Valley. Gittins has got Campbell backing off into the Charlton penalty area. Doherty's in front of him as well. Gittins tries to work across through, does get through, but Bell is able to clear. Here's toss in the attendance tonight, 26,475 here, so very near to capacity at the Valley. And again, it's lots of short, neat, precise passing from Chelsea around the edge of the Charlton penalty area. Caicedo points. Buonanotte appears in that space, strokes the ball gently with his left foot to Caicedo. Chelsea work it across to the left, and then Badiashile And Garnacho have a bit of a miscommunication, and Badia Shields passed the ball straight out of play.
Big man's not a very good one, has he? He's having a difficult day, Badia Shields. Just sometimes that happens. You have a day like that. And I do think he's been played out of position. He's been asked to do a job he's not particularly comfortable with, and when he's had to play the ball forward, he's given it away needlessly quite a few times as well. But in the end, he's one of those defenders, that's not his job. His job's to stop people, and generally as a central defender. Whereas with Chelsea playing in the left of a three, you're expected to be much more involved with the play going forward, and I'm not convinced it's always his forte.
So we're still waiting for the first goal for Chelsea under Liam Rosenior. Charlton 0, Chelsea 0. 8 minutes plus added time left in this first half, and our eyes and heads have been turned generally away to our left towards that giant covered end, because that's the goal Chelsea have been attacking in the first half. Buonanotte scoops across in towards the far post, looking for Garnacho, volleyed high away up towards the halfway line. Tossin's header forward. Lieburn is able to chest it down inside his own half, does well. First time ball down the right, looking for Kelman. Ball just spun away from him there. He was looking to make contact with Tossin, the centre-back, to hold him off. And then the ball just disappeared from view. Charlton have it inside their own half. Doherty plays back to the 19-year-old Goff. Goff to centre-back Lloyd Jones, and Jones comes back to his goalkeeper Mannion, and as soon as Mannion gets it, he's clearing it downfield. Achimpong tries to knock it over the head of Campbell, collect it the other side, and the Charlton man wins the battle. It goes out for a throw into Charlton.
I do like Therese Campbell. You know, when he gets forward, he looks very, very dangerous. He's one of those players that he's a wing back, so he'll have to do the left back, left midfield and left wing. But you know he prefers being in the left wing. He wants to get the ball in the last third when he can. And when he does get that situation, he does run at defenders and look very dangerous. The problem, of course, is just not getting enough ball today.
Badia Shields' header away. Bree can't keep the ball in play. It was played towards him by Sonny Carey, so that goes out for a Chelsea throw. Shouldn't forget as well that Charlton are a championship team now, but of course we're playing in League One last season, came up through the playoffs, beating Leyton Orient 1-0 in the final. Here's Achimpong to Santos. Santos lays it off to Caicedo. You can see the condensation of the players' breath steaming up around their heads. Every single breath they take here, just like this from Tossin, who's breathing heavily but at walking pace in the centre circle. Low pass to Badia Shields. Badia Shields has his head up. Not really sort of dynamic runs being made ahead of him. So Tossin now plays it across to the right. Buonanotte tries to turn. Takes one in the lower back. He's gone down holding his back. Play doesn't stop, and Charlton have a chance to have a go at this Chelsea defence. Lieburn out to Campbell. This is what Pat was talking about. Campbell wanting to get down the left. That's what he does, and he's won the corner. Bit of space, cross into Achimpong, who knocks it behind for the Charlton corner.
He's clearly more happy, isn't he? Much happier going left-hand side. He'll take on the defender every time he gets a chance. But if he didn't stop the play, he didn't see any free kick there. And because it's not a head injury, it's clearly not any sort of break. Of course he's going to carry that game on. Just watch that again for a second time here. But on a cold night like this, if I need you in the back, would you feel very happy?
No, I wouldn't, Pat. I wouldn't. And Buonanotte is not comfortable. He's a man alone. He's prostrate on the turf away to our left. Charlton are waiting to take their corner away to our right, but they are going to have to wait a little bit longer while Buonanotte receives treatment. It's worth reading out the Chelsea bench tonight. So as I say, Cole Palmer, Reece James, Malo Gusto not involved this evening. Mark Cucurella suspended after the sending off against Fulham. So Robert Sanchez obviously on there as the keeper, but the cavalry very much there in case Liam Rosenior needs them tonight to get through this tie. Pedro Neto, Enzo Fernandez, Liam Delap, Dario Isugo. Now, he was on the bench for the first 3 Premier League games of the season. Young Portuguese midfielder who played a little bit of football for Chelsea at the FIFA Club World Cup but has been injured. He's on the bench. That's good to see. João Pedro, Trevor Chalobah, Wesley Fofana and Esteban.
I suppose what you're looking at there, because there's not too much stress on the Chelsea defence so far, apart from the odd corner kick, which we've got one here, and I think that's the best opportunity that Charlton seem to be able to have in this game to make good use of these set pieces. But if you look at Chelsea, you're looking at best thinking, right, okay, who's going to cut open a defence? Is it going to be Esteval? Can he come on and do that? Is it going to be Pedro? And don't ignore Enzo Fernandez, who's perfectly capable of that sort of stuff too.
Right, Charlton corner. Chelsea down to 10 for the moment. Buonanotte rather sorrowfully hobbling his way towards the halfway line. Charlton manager Nathan Jones gives him a little high five. Buonanotte waiting to come back on. Charlton took the corner short. Cross eventually comes in. Tosin heads it away. Chelsea players come chasing out. Guillau's interested here and then goes through the back of Sonny Kerry, who's in front of him, because Kerry just showed a little bit too much of the ball, then had to put his body in the way to make sure that he won the free kick. Charlton free kick on the halfway line.
Can we safely say that corner kick routine didn't work very well?
Yeah.
They started out with a corner kick and almost get broke on giving the ball away. Badly organised, and considering the first couple of corner kicks that they put in, they looked very dangerous indeed. I was really quite surprised they did that.
It's the 145th season of this fabulous competition, the FA Cup, and we have had 45 different winners in that time. Crystal Palace, of course, new winners last season, beaten by Macclesfield today as the holders, though. Chelsea trying to get the ball away. Gittins, Goff drags him back, the sticks with him. Free kick is given, but he doesn't earn a yellow card for that. Caicedo waits to take it for Chelsea. Cross it comes to Santos. Got 90 seconds of the 45 minutes remaining, and then we'll have to see just how much added time we're going to get at the end of this first. Badiashile, that's a poor pass into space, but in fact straight to the Charlton man, Connor Coventry.
You can tell his confidence is a little bit short now, Badiashile, because he's given a bit away so often. Once again, I do feel sorry for a player who's playing so far out of his comfort zone.
Yeah. Bell from the back for Charlton, up the left-hand side to Campbell. Bell with the back heel, dummy to go back to his keeper. Gittins makes the challenge but fouls Bell, so that'll be a free kick to Charlton. I think will be pretty pleased actually, just the fact that they've stopped Chelsea scoring, because they haven't done all that much else in the game.
Probably delighted, really, the fact that they've been under that much pressure. There's not been many clear-cut chances that Chelsea have done, but they have absolutely and utterly dominated and controlled the game. And there are some teams that will do that and hold back and have a little bit of a go later on. I don't think it is that. I just think they've been dominated.
Doherty heads the ball straight up in the air. Buonanotte battles for that. Coventry is there for Charlton. Pass into his own half. Goff is alert and speeds across to get to that, because Guillou was closing in on it. Goff's ball out from the back, intercepted, and Chelsea now have an opportunity with Garnacho up to the edge of the penalty area. Charlton getting defenders back, and the shot is blocked by James Bree. Garnacho gets it again, receives it from Harto. The boos start up again for the Argentine. 7 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Acheampong, edge of the penalty area. Out it goes quickly to Gittins on the right. Left-footed cross, too close to the keeper. Mannion, who in his dark green uniform leaps in the air, catches the ball in both hands, clears it downfield with his right foot. Badiashile jumps with Leeburn, who's won a lot of those aerial duels, but Chelsea have the ball. And Santos finds Caicedo. Caicedo to Acheampong. Wide it goes to Gittins, and Gittins is able to get up a bit of speed here. Left-footed low drive, Mannion down to his left, palms it behind for another Chelsea corner. Pat Nevin.
By a decent distance, Gittins looks the most dangerous player out there for either team, but definitely for Chelsea as well. He's gone down the left a few times. Garnacho hasn't really done a lot, but on the right-hand side, Gittins looking sharp. He just floats across that ground, doesn't he? He cruises past players, seemingly not doing a great deal at all. And the fact he's got Acheampong beside him, who is similarly very good, and they have a good understanding together. They two look like a very good pairing in that right-hand side for Chelsea.
We will be hearing from the Tottenham boss, Thomas Frank, at half-time, as well as Emi Buendia after Spurs 1, Villa 2 in the FA Cup third round. Our commentary at 5:45, the 5:45 kick-off this afternoon. This is Charlton 0, Chelsea 0. So those interviews on the way for you shortly. Cross into that Charlton penalty area again. Garnacho jumps for the ball on the edge of the box. Steepling high clearance from Doherty. Lloyd Jones comes rushing in. The ball comes off him. It falls to Buonanotte. Again, a whole huddle of red shirts in front of Buonanotte. Just didn't see a way through there for Chelsea. So they've come back to Caicedo, to Santos, back to Tosin. Badiashile is well inside the Charlton half. finds Santos, uses Caicedo again. Tossin's involved again. We've played a couple of minutes of added time, so still 5 minutes remaining at the end of this first half. Santos and Caicedo, again, just 5 yards apart, knocking passes between them inside the Charlton half. Buonanotte now tries to turn it round the corner. That is blocked, lobbed up in the air, controlled by Carey. His ball forward, bounces inside the Chelsea half. Good leap by Kelman, got in front of Tossin there, and Charlton suddenly have the ball in a promising position. Kelman turns away from Buonanotte. Support on the right-hand side from Bree. Kelman decides not to use him. Plays back to young Goff, who does look extremely young. He's come as close as he's been to us in this first half, and he's got the short shaven head. 36 on his back for Charlton, and looks all of those just 19 years. Doherty beaten to the ball inside the Chelsea half, and now Chelsea suddenly comes streaming forward. Caicedo with the ball at his feet, looking ahead towards Guiu and Buonanotte. Buonanotte passes it back to the Ecuadorian. Then Santos across to Garnacho. Garnacho receives it, runs to the corner of that Charlton penalty area, assesses his options, fires it low across to Achimpong. Short pass to his left to Caicedo. Back it comes to Garnacho, who continues to get the stick from the Charlton fans, trying to work space on the edge of the area, lines up the right-footed shot, which is well blocked, and Chelsea will start again.
Again, when they broke first there, Chelsea, because Charlton were up the park and they left a few players up there, they didn't really do it at pace. Caicedo kind of jogged forward with the ball. If you're a forward player, you think, well, finally, we've got a little bit of space. Let's move into that area quickly. Maybe that's the one question mark you'd ask over about this Chelsea team in the first half. Changing defence into attack when they had to, not doing it quickly enough.
First half of football under Liam Rosenior as the head coach is almost up. It's against Championship Charlton here in the FA Cup third round, and it's still 0-0. Chelsea have dominated the ball. They've not been able to find a way through. Caicedo's cross in, looking for Guiu, headed down. Harto with his left foot finds the top corner. His first goal for Chelsea, the first under Liam Rosenior. They've dominated the ball and they've found a way through just before half-time. It's Charlton 0, Chelsea 1.
The way he celebrated the goal, you'd think he does that every single week. The ball's come down, it's bounced, but it's still kind of a volley, and he has leathered it with the outside of his left boot. A little bit of spin on it as well. He's taken it away from the goalkeeper, but he almost can't hit it any better than that. But that's if you want it if you're Chelsea. The ball just broke down there. It was a cross, and I think it was Caicedo just headed across, and he's walked on with his left foot. And as we often say with left footers, they do tend to hit the ball sweetly, don't they? Angled it well, really relaxed, top bin.
Top bins indeed, off the laces, swerving away into the top corner. His first goal for Chelsea comes in the FA Cup. It's a special strike. You can see it on Match of the Day tonight. BBC One, 10:40. All the highlights also available on the BBC Sport website. If you can't watch Match of the Day live tonight, it'll obviously be available on the iPlayer as well. Some great stories, great goals as well. Manchester City scoring 10, of course, this afternoon. Their massive 10-1 win with Antoine Semenyo getting his first goal for the club as well. And Jarell Harto has done the same for Chelsea tonight. Late in the first half against Charlton. Charlton 0, Chelsea 1. So now Charlton have got a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I've got a problem because the way their system's set up, you know, they've got 2 up front, but they've got the 5 at the back. And do they take any more chances? Because if they do, you get the feeling this Chelsea team could basically shred them.
Guiu can't quite hold on to it for Chelsea, just outside the Charlton penalty area. Charlton start to play out. Carey takes a touch with his left foot, moves away easily from Garnacho. Right-footed ball up towards Leeburn. Leeburn, couple of touches, then he's nudged over, is he? Yes. By Caicedo, who's aghast at the referee's decision, but it does give Charlton a free kick just outside the Chelsea penalty area, right at the end of this first half.
I think we can safely say Caicedo doesn't think there was a foul in there. He feels as if he's a little bit of the ball. Did you see that? I didn't think he got much of the ball there. There's a shove in the back as well.
Yeah.
I think he knew what he was doing. He's not being booked, so he's okay.
No, when you come in from there, Pat, he's not quite behind. He's coming in from the side, but he sort of hooked his right leg around Leeburn, didn't he?
Yeah, from the side and behind. It's one of those ones where you have to get an absolutely clean kick in the ball for the referee to allow that to go away. So a dangerous area to get a free kick. I don't think there's a shot on here, but certainly a cross into a dangerous area.
James Bree waits to take it for Charlton. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Charlton players inside that Chelsea penalty area. 3-man wall for Chelsea. Bree hits it and finds the wall. Blocked by Santos. Ball spins away to the right. Charlton react quickest. Bree down the right. Crossing from Coventry to the near post. Volleyed away by Caicedo. Bree is there again. Shovels the ball infield. Carey plays it back to the halfway line. And the Charlton attack can't continue because the 7 minutes of added time are up. Chelsea have dominated the half, taken the lead through a stunning goal in added time at the end of the first half. Jarell Hatto with a left-footed screamer. Liam Rossini are down with the coaching staff there. Pat Nevin is all smiles. And I think he should be pretty pleased with the way Chelsea have...
Keep on doing the right things. As long as you do them quickly, the odd gap will open up. You'll get the odd bounce. You'll get the odd half chance just with players getting tired. They know that. They played for that. And when it did come there, they absolutely took advantage of it. So, yeah, you'll be delighted. You can't say anything other than Chelsea deserve to be ahead here. They do deserve to be ahead. But there's a wee bit here that feels a bit sorry for Charlton because they have worked so hard. They just wanted to get to half-time and they almost got there, but not quite.
New boss's game, first game in charge for Chelsea, going as he would want. Lots of the ball, stunning goal just before half-time, scored by Jarell Hatto. So in the FA Cup third round at the Valley at half-time, it's Charlton 0, Chelsea 1.
A very enjoyable first half, I must say. Kind of what we were expecting, gentlemen, and a corking atmosphere as well coming through the airwaves up until that Chelsea goal. Pat, out of 10... what do you think from what you've seen so far from Liam Rossini's, albeit second-string Chelsea?
It looks very much like the Chelsea before.